And the other reason, and I promise you, I kid you not, the other reason I enjoy being a polo driver, apparently you can charge it using a power bank. Hello YouTube family, hello South Africa, this is Sizwe and we're back with another video. As you can see today, I'm alone without my wife, but soon she'll be here. There's a lot of videos that we're going to be dropping. We've been editing and we've been quite occupied, but I promise you some exciting stuff is coming. So as you can see from this video, I'm going to be kind of having a story time about in my times, you know, when I was still a polo driver. So I'm a former polo driver, in case you didn't know. As the title says, I'm just gonna give some reasons as to why I didn't buy a GTI. Oh, and by the way, so I read an article saying that it's been proven that according to statistics, a lot of accidents are caused by polo drivers. That's very interesting. From a former polo driver, I can kind of say I understand why. So taxi drivers and polo drivers, the king of the roads in South Africa. Pekelezi isn't just a game. But yeah, so it was a very interesting article. So it's actually quantum and polo that are causing most accidents. So I don't know how true that is, but knowing how my behavior is, it's like there's something about that car, man. It just makes you do things, you know. So for some reason you find yourself hogging the fast lane. You feel like you are like a German machine, man, like a BMW and Audi. So I don't know, it just gives you that power. And you know the polo is a front wheel drive. So at first, still when you move from gear 1 to gear 2, it'll kick off faster. So that gives you power, like yeah. And then as you go, that 66 kilowatts, or if it's a Highland, you know, you'll get what? I think it's around 70 something kilowatts, or is it 80? I don't know. But it just makes you feel like you just need to overtake, you know, in and out. Ubangene boy. So it's a very interesting experience. So I think to those stats, I can't confirm nor deny them, but I can just say with me personally, I wouldn't see that as far-fetched or being crazy from my experience. I know this video is about the GTI, but I'm just telling a bit of the background, which is when I was still a polo driver. Like I said, this car just has something that just makes you be notorious and do stuff, you know. So I remember at some point I found myself sitting like this on the chairs, you know, when I'm changing gears. So I'll be like, you know, so you know how, then you check the mirror there. So that was very fun. I found myself doing that. My seat was always here, you know. So those are all the chronicles of a polo driver. And obviously the girls, you know, we've seen a lot of stories from social media that, you know, when the polo driver is involved, you're gonna lose your girlfriend. But anyway, so I guess that was my experience as a polo driver, you know. And the other reason, and I promise you, I kid you not, the other reason I enjoy being a polo driver, apparently you can charge it using a power bank. So I was still to try it. I never tried it, but that was one of the selling points. So I don't know how true that is. So allegedly, you can charge it using a power bank. Hey, fast forward, I got tired of driving the polo. Now I needed more power. I was like, how can I get more power, you know? I don't know, 190 kilowatts or 200 or 230 or whatever. And then obviously the next option, like the bigger brother, the upgrade, would have been the GTI. So now comes the time I get a new job, and that new job kind of like doubled my salary. So I was already earning fairly decent. And then when it doubled my salary, so at the time, looking at my age group, and I think I was highly paid for my age. So that was very interesting. So, you know, I started having some spare money on the side, you know, and obviously at the time, I'm not married, I don't have debts. I used to hate debts a lot. I wasn't married, you know, so I didn't have a kid, I didn't have anything. So I have some money to spare. Now I'm kind of getting a handle of my finances, you know, renting, buying food and stuff like that, you know. So now I needed more power, and then I was like, the GTI. So comes the time, go to the dealership, I wanna go get myself a GTI. by the way, I was living in Cape Town at the time, so I was also seeing the beach, you know, and the scenery there. I really enjoyed that place, so I was not a jawbreaker at the time. So if you look at the crime stats, which I'm gonna get to later, the Polo is more stolen in Johannesburg compared to Cape Town, but we'll talk about that later. So now I went to the dealership to buy the GTI, and then when I got there were a couple of other cars, like powerful cars, you know, your S3, your BMW 330i, the M4s, you know, all sort of cars. So it was quite a range, you know. The A45, the Mac was there. We have your, what's this car, the Ford Focus ST and such cars, you know. And then I saw the Beamer, and then when I saw the Beamer, the salesman, we had a long talk, because that Beamer, he had a personal relationship with that Beamer, because it used to be owned by his father, and his father treated that thing like it was his kid, like his egg, you know. So he could vouch for that car, that this car is not going to give you problems, take this car, you know, and it's cheaper than GTI. So this was the BMW, my current BMW. So now I went home, because I went to buy the GTI, but that day I didn't buy it. So the guys were like, go back home, you know, I'm excited, I want this car, you know, and I want it as soon as possible. Like, go home, go think about it, you know. I got home, I thought about it. I'm like, in a couple of years from now, I'm gonna start a family. I'm gonna need boot space, you know. When you wanna put strollers for the kid, you're gonna need space. Going on vacations and stuff like that, you're gonna need space. Yes, the GTI boot is fairly decent, but in terms of boot space, it's still a bit lower than what I would have liked in future. So the safe space, basically. So one of the reasons why I didn't buy the GTI would have been boot space. And then the second reason would have been, you know, I wanted to get out of the game, you know, and being the Fboy, you know, I wanted to become a family man now, you know. I had the girls, I had everything, I had the fun. So, but now I wanted to move more to the next league, you know, and join the big boys, you know. I wanted to bamba the next league. And then I finally was like, okay, fine, let me take the Beamer. If I don't like it, I'm gonna come back, change it, go back to my GTI. Then when I got the Beamer, you know, the third reason for the Beamer over the GTI, the suspension, man. So as you know, the GTI is front wheel, and then meaning the power goes from the engine to the front wheels. But the BMW, it's the other way around. So it's a rear wheel drive. Obviously, when you accelerate off the line with the Beamer, it's gonna delay a bit. It's gonna like drag, and you're like, this car doesn't have power. But the moment it goes to gear 2, that's where the power kicks in, and then boom, it goes. That's very exciting for me. And at the same time, that suspension, man, it's that shared driving pleasure that BM boasts about, because their cars are mainly made for drivers. So yeah, and then in corners I could overtake with 120, you know. You can't do that on a front wheel drive because of the understeers and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons, the suspension. So I really like that on the BMW. The fourth reason, which is important, so I had mentioned earlier, is the crime. As we all know, we live in South Africa. The Polo, the VW Polo, is one of the most stolen cars in South Africa, Cape Town or Johannesburg. So it's even worse. I used to see in Johannesburg, there was still things like the mirror, the side mirrors. There was still the caps, the VW caps on the wheels. They will steal wheel caps, you know, for rain and stuff like that. So it was, yeah, even the badge in the front, these guys, the Nyapre guys, will take it off. So it was easy. Even the lights at the front, they'll steal them, you know, the headlights. So that sucked. And obviously with the VW, you are risking. So there's a high chance of you being hijacked, you know, and given its security. So there's a lot of concerns that the VW has weak security. So it's one of the most stolen cars in South Africa, you know. So, and now recently it's one of the most cars that cause accidents in the road, if not involved in accidents. But anyway, it's just a statistic. The fourth reason was the crime. It was a big reason, because now you have to, when you're driving at night, you have to be careful, you know, so that they don't hijack you. And that sucked, you know. So I think one of the things I hate in South Africa is crime, you know, because in crime we have corruption, in crime we have GBV, in crime we have violent crimes, you know, assaults and stuff like that. You know, with crime we just have bad things happening in our lives. So hijackings, like for the VW. So crime is one of the things I hate in this country. But anyway, I don't want to get too political. But yeah, crime was one of the reasons I was like, the GTI is not gonna work, because while it's VW either way, so while the Polo is the most stolen, the GTI is not far off, you know. So yeah, that's why I fell in love with the BMW, you know. It was more practical, it had more power, it was very interesting, it had a bigger space, the boot was bigger, and then obviously it's the same car that I used to charm my wife when I still stayed in Cape Town, although she wouldn't admit now, but she knows that when I pulled up with that car, you know, it commanded the respect, even to her friends, you know, because she came with her friends. I think that's on our How We Met video. I should be on the pop-up here or there, I don't know. And yeah, so later we added the bakkie because the BM has had its limitations, you know. It's 19-inch rims, so I can't take those to potholes to home in Mpumalanga because the roads are so bad there. So yeah, the bakkie came in handy for off-roading, for putting stuff in. I even carried my dad's cows with it at his funeral, may he rest in peace. So it's quite a practical car, you know. In bad roads I can use it, off-roading when we're camping, I can use it, and a camping video is gonna come soon. So yeah, deep down though, I do miss being a Polo driver, you know, and deep down I do wanna buy that GTI. I do wanna have that one feel one more time and just feel it, you know, own it, even if it's for a month, you know. Yeah, deep down, maybe one day is one day, who knows. So yeah, but my wife is really against it. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. The energy has gone down because I don't want to be loud now. So yeah, to our returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back. And if you haven't subscribed already, please click on the magic button, subscribe. It's really free and it really helps us as a channel. We are really cutting down for that 1000 subscribers, so hashtag 1000 subscribers, help us get there, guys. Please share the video, please comment. If you're a Polo driver, GTI driver, or BMW, do drop a comment, do like the video, do share, you know, share your experiences. I'm gonna probably combine them into the next video before we start it. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you're having a good year so far. We'll see you on the next video, and I'm out. Peace and boom.